Greetings folks, today we're gonna talk about spells, which one you should use, which one you can use, and which one that I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. So let's begin. First of all, in the lowest tier, Burning Ember, it's a starting spell. You should not use this one more than necessary. Moreover, Blood Transfusion is better when you're lower level because the bleed damage actually does more damage than this. Blood Transfusion, also in lowest tier. It's amazing to kill stuff in the tutorial, and even some enemies in Act 1 like Vigor can be cheesed at a super low level without gear with this spell. It will work as long as you don't let the stacks fall off, of course. Flickerbolt, this is another starting spell. You should not use this spell longer than you need to. It's better than Burning Ember in my opinion, but not by that much. So in Act 1, playing lightning, you can absolutely use it. Then you want to kill the Mist Bearer and get yourself a better lightning spell. Or you can even get Thunderstrike from the fortress when you go and kill the bounties. So you have options. Hailstone. While this is a leveling spell, it has the application of chill. In Act 1, you don't have a lot of chill spells, so this is the reason why I assigned this here. Because you have this one, and then you have Winter's Crone's Wrath. Venom Flick. The reason why it's not good is because if you're a mage, you should rush Poison Spray anyway. Poison Spray, S tier. This one will murder the entirety of Act 1. Nothing can stand in your way. Recently, on my Soul Cube playthrough, I popped Crippling Core, not even the boss of Act 1, not any bounty, not any mob, except the Mistbearer that managed to survive by the time the stagger came off. However, the difference between this and Flame Torrent is that the Lightcast is a multi-projectile for Poison Spray. For Flame Torrent is melee. The heavy attack of Poison Spray deals way more damage than Flame Torrent. So that is the reasoning. Soul Salvage, unless you're a summoner, you will not use this spell. That's the reasoning. Nature Caress goes in D, like all the healing spells are before you enable your Life Leech. Or if you're playing, a build that doesn't have Life Leech. On Mage, you want to crit, so getting Life Leech is kinda natural, but hey, to each their own. Cheese spell, I'm gonna put it in S for utility, really. Infinite Food. To make the Cheese Ball of Death, you only need cheese, nothing else. This is the only spell in the game that does this, plus it's kinda fun, but doesn't have really any offensive utility. I hope that one day we get Cheese Gear, and then we can make a Cheese Mancer build. But one man can only dream. Stoneskin, to me it says, Stoneskin, it's part of the group of spells that are shields. You can only have one active at the same time. So this one goes in conflict with Arcane Aegis, Mystic Ward, whatever. This one will give you extra mitigation. Can really be used by most builds, not just mages. Then we have Mother's Embrace, which is a better version of Nature Caress. Reasoning is the same, identical. Abhartach's Calling, it's a situational spell that is part of the Bleed family. If we had a spell that allows us to summon corpses, like if we could desecrate the ground and cause this to explode, would be cool. But it's kinda like the bad version of this, which is Volatile Summon. Volatile Summon is the strongest spell in the game. All the spells in this game have a base amount of damage. This spell here does not. On Lightcast, it's 40% of your summon's HP. If you watched my summon tier list, you can see how many HP some summons get. Water Droplet goes in C, mainly because we have a better version available to us that is not even that far away to get in Saras, and Saras is already like something that technically you should do after Act 2, or sometimes some people even do it after Act 3, and that would be Crushing Wave, which to me is a B, low A tier. It will apply Wet, in case you don't know. Wet is something that makes freezing stuff easier. Some enemies cannot be frozen. For example, you cannot freeze the Stalker. Then we have Winter's Crone's Wrath that I will put in B. Multi-projectile, good, as built-in chill application. Overall a good spell. Scorching Pathway, A tier. Lightcast has a good amount of damage. It has an insane huge line AoE. Very good spell. Is one of the few instances where I actually switch out of Poison Spray when I level up, because the Red Death Infected cannot be poisoned, but they burn very easy. Then we have Calm Animal in D tier. It's another situational spell. You can use this one to make bear and wolves not aggressive You can even tame animals and have them fight for you. So it has some uses. Drain Vigor, another situational spell. It's useful when you cannot stagger stuff. When your crit is up, you will stagger anything. You don't need to use this spell really. So there is that. Weightbound goes in B. Good debuff spell. Can slow stuff. We don't have a lot of sources of slow. There are some weapons like the Ice Tongue Spear, for example, that you can use. This one is a good support spell nevertheless. Toxic Dart, I will put this one in C. It's the upgraded version of Venom Flick. I don't like this spell very much just because Poison Spray exists. Life Transfusion, C as well. Once you have enough life leech, you can afford to use it. You can even beat the game by just using Life Transfusion if you want. However, when you don't have life leech, it's very annoying to manage. Blazing Orb, I will also put this one in C as well. It's the upgraded version of Burning Embers, but still falls below Scorching Pathway. Divine Grace, it is the best healing spell, but by the time you have this one, I expect you to have life leech up already. Caustic Wrath, A tier. It's in Act 3, can be used wild while casting, overall a good spell. Frost Needle also goes in C. Frost Needle is the upgraded version of Hailstone, good for freezing stuff. I used this one for a while when I leveled up my Frost build. Thunderlash, I will put this one in B, as higher base damage than a lot of the spells below here. Merlin, Thorns, A tier, good spell to use. Can do multi-projectile, can be used to stack dots. 7 projectile when it's fully heavy casted are a lot. Moreover, it has good range as well. Scorching Blast, to me this one is S tier. It's the closest thing that we have to Fireball, really, in this game. The AoE size is not insanely huge, but in a lot of cases when enemies are cramped up, you will still make them explode. Downside are slow cast speed and high mana cost. Then we have Searing Cinder, I'm gonna put it in A. Has less damage than Scorching Pathway, but also cost less mana. Fire Rune, I'm gonna put this one in A tier. I personally love Fire Rune. The heavy cast requires 6 seconds to trigger. 6 seconds is a lot. You can of course precast it and then you pull the mob like you will do with every trap, but sometimes, well, the mob can move. If something can be staggered, it will not move. And this thing here, when it triggers, it's gonna be explosion, 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 every single second going. Hailstorm, also A tier. Very good for chilling. Long range, very good all around. Impenetrable Shield, to me, it's a shield spell, so it competes with Stoneskin. Moreover, unlike the other shields variants, it will deal no damage, so this one is only protection. Mystic Ward does the same, but also does damage. The only issue with Mystic Ward is that it costs a lot of mana when you level up, so if you want to spam this one, because of course you can have it active, and if you cast it again, it will cause the previous one to explode in an area of effect. Arcane Aegis, which is literally Mystic Ward, has the highest amount of base damage. The only downside is that in third person, sometimes when you try to cast this one, your character blocks you from doing so, but the damage is still good. Then we have Petrify. Petrify goes in A tier for me. The only downside of Petrify is that you are meant to play around the petrification mechanic, but even if you don't, the base damage of Petrify as a light cast isn't low. It is almost melee, so, well, you will not have that full marksman bonus on this one. Thunderstrike, C. So, Thunderstrike is the baby version of Thunderstorm, right? Once you fully charge it, and then you drop it on the ground, it will not initiate combat, so it's a trap spell. You place it on an enemy, after 3 seconds, this one comes boom and does a lot of damage. Thunderstorm, S tier. It's one of my favorite spells in the game. The reason why I ranked this one higher than Fire Rune is the following reason. This one can be stacked up to 20 times, doesn't have a timer. You either catch an enemy unaware. If it's allowed, you can even precast this one in an arena. And then you stagger the enemy or whatever, and then you cast it. On an enemy unaware, this spell will allow you to cheese a lot of enemies in this game. Really good. Can be used easily on Sir Gain when you start Saras and one-shot him. Swollen Prism, to me this is also in S tier. Really good spell. Only downside is that it comes super late. You need to finish Act 3 to get this one, and your build needs to be working to finish the crypt, which is not a problem because the crypt is not that hard. Vinelash, I will put this one in A. I'm not a smart person by any stretch of the imagination. Well, by now you realize, right? Sometimes I try to heavy cast this, and then I miss, and then I'm like, ah. So, the light cast is very good to apply poison. The heavy cast will do a lot of damage if you hit the target. Storm Piercer, also A tier. Really good spell. Use this one a lot on my Battle Mage. Crippling Bolt. You can do two things with this spell. You lower the enemy damage. For this reason, I will put it in B. It will increase your critical chance against that enemy when you heavy cast. It's a good spell and it's a buff nevertheless. Okay, Absorption. I personally don't like Mana Shield, however this spell can be used if you're missing some Mana Shield or you want to add some extra Mana Shield for mitigation. So this spell has some uses. Severing Ray is similar to Storm Piercer in light cast, however the heavy cast of Severing Ray is one of the coolest looking one in the game. However, I feel that it's weaker than it used to be. It's still a fairly usable spell, but I would not try to invest in full heavy cast speed, at least only for this spell. So this will be my tier list. Which one is your favorite spell? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing for more gaming content. If you have any question, let me know in the comments. If you are interested in more tier list or stuff like that, feel free to drop suggestions below. Have fun playing Fall of Avalon, and I will see you in the next video.